Urbanization is the fact that people are they want to occupy the city, you know. They want to live away from the back from there for the community area there, and then they want to live where the city are the urban country.
Okay, so urbanization involves city growth. Well, it involves people moving to cities. Okay, so, and
So
because people move to the city, what happens?
it's a
Mabel,
exodus.
Mabel, can you continue, please?
I was trying to understand suburbanization.
No, we're looking at urbanization right now. What does urbanization mean?
I think urbanization is about road transportation system, or services.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What do you think, Fahima?
Urbanization, that's meaning there's something modern or modernized or there is a lot of services or some advancement in technology, or there is a lot of schools or universities, or there is good health care. As Mabel said, good public transportations.
Okay, good. So in some way, we've got, I think, the idea, the growth and development of cities due to the high demand, due to the population migration to cities. Okay, so that's the main thing. The growth and development of cities because of a lot of people coming to the cities. So this includes, as you said, infrastructure,
Exodus, when the move people to the cities, we are called Exodus. I think we have taken before yesterday this word.
No, Exodus means leaving.
Not migration.
Yeah, the opposite of exodus would be influx. Due to the influx of people to cities. Well, let's just say social services. Services.
And there's facilities.
Business. Municipal. And other municipal facilities. Well, so infrastructure includes transportation, all kinds of networks in the city, services, business, schools, hospitals, everything. Okay?
Okay.
That is mainly urbanization. Now, suburbanization comes from the word suburb. Do you know what is a suburb?
Yeah, around the suburb, around the city or out of the city.
Right. It's a small or communities, areas, mainly communities that are outside of the city area.
Mm.
So actually in Edmonton, we have lots of suburbs. For example, Millwoods is a suburb. I would probably think that everything that is past or near the Anthony Henday is like a suburb. Okay. Yeah. So communities outside of the city area.
Can
Yeah.
we say like Saint Albert?
St. Albert is a city.
Okay.
Yeah. St. Albert has its own municipality. If you have a municipality, you're not a suburb.
Okay.
Ah,
But at the same time, it has a negative meaning.
No.
No. But do you hear when people talk about suburbs, or at least in movies?
The burbs. No.
No.
It's not negative.
The Bronx.
No. Suburbs could be suburbs. Sometimes people who live in the suburbs are considered to be snobby or rich or like a higher class, they say. But nowadays, that hasn't happened. Like nowadays, actually, some people live in the suburbs because it's cheaper than living in the city. Yeah, no, like a suburb is cheaper in many ways nowadays. In the past, maybe suburbs were considered more higher class, but no.
Oh, I don't know, because on my mind I have this negative.
No. No, a suburb is not negative.
Oh.
There are suburbs. Well, suburbs are growing in popularity because of city growth. Many people are moving to the suburbs. So suburbanization would be the growth and development of communities further away from the cities.
Urbanization is not related to rural area.
No.
Okay.
Because rural areas are completely away. Suburbs usually have a one road that connects directly to the cities. Yeah.
okay, but no municipality.
No municipality. No.
Yeah, good.
They are communities. Yeah. In some cases, I guess, in some cases, you could say that suburbs develop into cities. Like it has happened. Like for example, before St. Albert was a suburb of Edmonton. But because it grew, it just became its own city. Okay, Sherwood Park is a suburb of Edmonton
Okay.
because Sherwood Park is not a municipality. Beaumont is a suburb of Edmonton. It's called Beaumont. And it's not its own municipality. There's also
Stony Plain?
Stony Plain, Spruce Grove. Those are suburbs of Edmonton.
How about Strathcona County?
When you get into counties, they're districts.
Oh, okay.
So no. Strathcona is a county. It means like a huge area.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's not a suburb. A suburb includes many housing projects in one area, but no municipality, just a community.
Okay.
So Spruce Grove is a suburb. It's a pretty large suburb actually. And they have, yeah. And Sherwood Park as well. I can't think of another. In the north, I don't think that there are more. So the growth and development communities further away from the cities. That's suburbanization. So this question says, what problems, okay? It says, what problems are associated with suburbs, okay? Or with urbanization? So I don't see this here. Michelin,
Yes.
if you're talking in the background or someone is talking, can you please mute your audio because we can hear all this noise?
Yeah, so I'm babysitting something. Somebody.
Yeah, so no, it's
I
okay.
understand.
Yeah, it's okay. Just you can have it there. Just mute your audio.
No, I'm okay.
Okay. So, what problems do we have because of urbanization? And how can suburbanization help solve these problems? Okay. So, okay. So, problems associated with urbanization. Who wants to give me one?
Me.
Okay, Mabel.
I think in the urbanization, there are big congestion traffic.
Mhm.
Yes, especially in peak hour.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, and what is this? What happens when this is there?
I think is um, is there are many cars on the road,
Yeah.
and the traffic is not fluent.
Mhm. So causes jams. Mhm. And
Stress maybe
Mhm.
in some city.
Mhm. And
And, um, and you spend a lot of time for to driving.
Mhm. And
Um,
I think overpopulations or rapid growth of.
well, 1 second, please, Fahima. Let's let Mabel finish, please.
Okay, okay.
long
Thank
commute
you.
times. And
Okay, so we're talking about traffic congestion specifically. Congestion. Okay, that's for sure. And we said that causes jams, stressful condition for commuters, long commuting times, and anybody else, there are other problems associated with this.
Can I say?
Yeah, go ahead.
As you said before, there is migration from another areas to cities. That's meaning there is. I think you will cause overpopulations or growth populations, extra growth populations.
Okay, so that is a new idea. So
Yeah.
we'll talk about that one in 1 second. So going back to the traffic congestion, it causes air pollution for sure.
oh yeah,
Air pollutions. Yeah.
Air pollution, that's why you see a lot of smoggy conditions in big cities. Okay. And
and acoustic pollution too.
noise pollution was the other one. Noise pollution, light pollution. Well, light pollution is not really big. Well, yeah, it can be because of that as well. Many types of pollution associated with traffic congestion. Okay, we'll leave that one for now if you think of something else. Okay, so now going to the overpopulation. Yes, overpopulation is another one. So, Fahima, when we have overpopulation, then what is overpopulation? What are the negative results of overpopulation for the cities?
The first one, you found some problem in housing. In housing, there is a lot of growth of, or a lot number of people. That means you will, yeah. This is the number one, and as told, there is no noise pollutions or air pollutions. Something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So housing shortages can cause expensive rents or mortgages. Okay. What else related to overpopulation?
The migrations from any areas, that's mean you will find many types of people. Sometimes here the crimes or security is increase. Crimes or like this increase.
Yeah, true. Crime increase. Yeah.
Mm. And here maybe we need more services like schools or hospitals or healthcare like this.
Okay, so that can be lead to requires more services and could be crowded. For example, schools, hospitals. Mhm. Okay. And one more I think that's very important.
Already are mentioned noise pollution or like this.
Noise, yeah. And
Also traffic congestions.
yeah, the overpopulation causes that traffic congestion for sure.
Yeah.
Or we can say, okay, public transport. And I wanted to put in here competition. Everything's a competition. Housing, jobs,
Yeah.
stores, everything. Okay?
Yeah.
Good. So that's definitely overpopulation is another one. Okay. Now, what about Miss Michelin? What do you have in mind?
In mind, I had murder, but I had also it's appear a change of culture. Change in
Culture?
culture. Yeah, the culture. The culture, you know, when people met, when they meet together, they exchange what is for them, it's become for you.
We want negative.
Yeah.
And
So
we're talking about the problems with urbanization. Well, since you're talking about culture, there are social problems associated with this.
Yeah.
One of them we already mentioned, which is crime increase. But what else can you think of, Michelin, when many people come together into cities? There's crime increase, but there's also I don't know if you noticed, but or Michelin?
yeah,
Excuse me, I
don't know.
Yes, Fahima?
now when you are talking, I get some idea. This would overpopulation about job. Overpopulation sometimes is a cause of shortage in jobs or to get opportunity of the job.
Okay. So competition for everything here would include competition for jobs. Could lead to shortages. Yeah. And since we're talking about that, unemployment is an issue that results in cities. Because when there's too many people,
Yeah.
then unemployment rises.
I have one.
Yes,
Lot of sickness can appear.
right. Health problems, health complications,
Mhm.
especially air-related ones like
Yeah.
respiratory, we can say. Um, and well, also sanitary issues.
Mm.
That's what some people are saying could have caused this coronavirus in those cities.
Mm.
Okay. Um, so crime increased, but what else can you say for social problems? Well, related to unemployment would be poverty, and that's would be the case. This is what's happening in, for example, developing countries like India and Brazil. You have huge populations living in really terrible conditions in slums, remember,
Yeah.
and shanty towns
Mm.
because they moved to the city, but it was not good for them.
Mm.
Okay?
In a urbanization, you can see more homeless than the
Of course, yeah,
suburbanization.
yeah. And this includes rise in stress as well. Mhm. Related to health complications, yeah. You have cultural problems, many cultures mixing together. This increases discrimination and racism. It's not to say that people are racist, okay?
Mm.
In some cases, they become racist just because they live in this different kind of stressful environment. Okay? I think it's a product of urbanization. So, social problems. And then the last one that we can mention here that we've already mentioned a little bit, but definitely environmental. Environmental issues, right? Such as we said already, air pollution. We're just going to categorize it more. But what other kinds of pollution? Land and water contamination. Mhm. Loss of biodiversity. Many animals, birds, in some cases leave. Everything becomes concrete. Mhm. Uh, Well, we have an increase, huge increase in garbage. Especially dangerous ones like plastics, right?
Yeah.
Plastics, electronics, furniture. Ooh, so much garbage. Yes. I think those are the main ones there. Okay, so as you can see, the conditions in major urban cities are not good. Okay. So that here said the problems associated with urbanization. The next part of the question says, how can suburbanization help solve these problems? Okay. How can suburbanization Okay, so how can suburbanization help solve these problems? Okay.
I think this is dependent on the government.
Well, for sure that suburbanization is dependent on the government or city planners or many things, but we don't want to know about who is dependent on Fahima. We want to know how can suburbanization, how can it, yeah, go ahead.
I meaning the government trying to services like the services which are available in the cities. I think the main cause of migration of people to the cities because there is a shortage of the services in suburb.
Okay, so you're correct in thinking that, Fahima, but that's not the question. So suburbanization means that we are going to take people away from the city and we're going to relocate them to suburbs like Spruce Grove, like Beaumont, like Sherwood Park. So we're sending them out and we're reducing the population of urbanization and we're taking them into the suburbs. So if we do that, how will this reduce social problems, environmental issues, traffic, and everything we said? Mabel?
Yeah, I have an example because in my city is large, but everything is in the center. For example, hospital, the good schools, and recreational facility. Everything is in the center. So people live in the north. They should go to the center of the city. For in peak hour, the center is collapsed because there are more vehicles, people. It's stressful. Go to the center of the city. And here is, I think it's different because every place have their service.
Right. So in reality, a suburb should have development.
Mhm.
It should have shops, supermarkets, schools. Maybe not in the beginning, not 10, but maybe one. So the suburbanization is like the complete development of one new area.
Mm.
Okay. So we need to think about it that way. So do you think that suburbanization will decrease crowdedness in the cities? Yes, right?
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
So that's what we want to say here. Well, the first major one would be reduction in city congestion. Because there will be less inhabitants. Less traffic. Right. Next.
You can for example, the price of house is less expensive than the urbanization.
And we forgot to mention here for social problems, or maybe just one by itself, is that there's a rise in cost of living.
Yeah.
Everything becomes more expensive in cities. So in suburbs, we should say, in theory, the cost of living could be less expensive than in cities. What more do we have?
Can we say that it can help when they build a lot of houses and then people will go and buy them there?
Yes.
So it will make people.
Yeah, so we said the cost of living could be less expensive than in cities, okay? Housing, for example. Yep. And we should say here, yep. What else do we have in mind, Fahima? What else could be good?
Transportation system.
The transportation system would be better?
Yes.
Okay, so if you mean less crowded in cities, okay. So less crowded transport, okay? Okay, and I think, what do you think? Do you think people's health can get better in suburbs?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
They live more calm.
More peaceful.
Yeah.
Well, people's well-being could increase. Less stress. Stress primarily related because in suburbs, there's going to be a more tranquil environment. Tranquil, peaceful, less noise, light, and air pollution. Okay, so I think actually we can see here, let me show you. Mhm. So here's what comes up when we have suburbs in Google. So you can see these pictures here. Actually, this image that we have right here, this is something that some people see as negative. Because it says everything looks the same.
Yeah, usually you don't see a big building in the urbanization area.
Right, you don't see
Yeah.
big buildings, yeah. But you can see this one here, yeah. And I have to say that Edmonton, I think, is a city more of suburbs. I think so. But even if you compare to, well, you see this in Edmonton a lot actually.
Yes.
This looks like my neighborhood right over here. Oh yeah. You see? But it's peaceful. Yeah. And it's away from the cities.
Mm.
This looks really nice. That looks really nice.
There's more grass area.
Yeah.
Yeah. Denver suburbs to raise a family in 2020. Definitely better for families, that's for sure. Okay, so we want to say, yeah, also less crime, of course. So everything that we have that's negative about urbanization will be positive in suburbanization.
Yeah, completely different.
Okay?
Yeah.
So there you go. We analyzed the topic very well. Now we need to write our essay. So what style of essay is this? Is it an argument essay? Is it a problem solution essay? Is it an agree-disagree essay? Is it
I think it's
cause and effect?
problem solution.
You got it, Mabel. And also Michelin.
The same.
Problem solution.
93.
93, okay. Thank you. Okay, good. So let's remember that we need to we start by writing the introduction. Topic, sentence, some general ideas. We're going to use these forms. And then our thesis or general opinion on this essay, on this topic. Okay? So let's get there and introduce our topic. 21st century.
Sorry, can you record, please? Could you give me permission to record?
Okay.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Issues associated with urbanization has become a prominent issue. Okay. So in our early 21st century, how to reduce is kind of structure there. The issues, let's put the problems. Well, let's put the negative, well, let's just put problems. I don't want to use conundrums yet. Has become a prominent issue. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's mainly the topic, how to reduce the problems associated with urbanization, okay?
Yeah.
Common opinion is that, I'll put what Fahima said here earlier. The government should try to expand growth away from urban centers. The government should try to expand growth away from urban centers. Okay. While from another perspective, we just want to give another idea related to this topic. Let's say, let's put city development experts posit that I'll just put city experts here. Municipal, let's put. Could be the solution to well, from another perspective, some municipal experts posit that this is our structure. development in the outskirts of the cities. Outskirts means like the surrounding area. And creating suburbs. Could be the solution to urban congestion, means city congestion. Okay, so that was 2 ideas about this topic. Now we want to get to our thesis. Though this problem may be prevalent, from my point of view, we should say some kind of solution here. Let's say effective suburbanization, or efficient, let's say, because we want it efficient. Because Mabel said in Chile, they do suburbanization, but they don't make anything in the suburbs. So that's not efficient. We need efficient suburban planning. There we go. Could certainly curtail the negative aspects of urbanization. So, though this problem may be prevalent from my point of view, that structure, efficient suburb planning, so we want efficient one, could certainly curtail, we want to say reduce the negative aspects of urbanization. Okay, so if we look at this here, so we introduced our topic. We gave some general views on this topic. And we concluded by answering the question or connecting to the topic about how suburbs could reduce the negative aspects of urbanization. Are we saying it could? Okay. That's what we're going to say in our essay. Do we have any questions about the introduction?
No, thank you.
You don't have it.
Okay. All right, then now we need to get to our first paragraph. Why this happens, or according to the question, what problems does urbanization cause? So we discussed those problems over here. So now you just need to mention a few of those. Okay? So we're gonna say here, we're gonna talk about the problems associated with urbanization. We're gonna we're gonna open this paragraph by relating to that question. We're gonna give the first reason. We're gonna explain or exemplify that idea. We're gonna give another reason. We're gonna explain or exemplify that idea. And then we're gonna close this paragraph. Okay? So let's go ahead and do that. To begin with, there are several vivid negative consequences that have been brought about from the rapid growth of many metropolitan areas. Okay, so again, that's just a question. What problems are associated with urbanization? So to begin with, there are several vivid negative consequences that have been brought about. Just means that have been caused. I'm not sure why I said brought about there. Maybe it sounds more academic, yeah. Have been brought about, bring about, just means cause. So you can say that have been caused, I just said brought about. From the rapid growth of many metropolitan urban centers. Remember, metropolitan means many cities connected together. Urban centers is the same. And this has definitely happened in the last 50 years. Like that listening that we heard the other day, it said that, who remembers, in 1950 we had how many cities with 10 million people? Who remembers? 1950. No, you don't remember? There was one city with 10 million people. What city was that?
New York?
New York. And then it said around 2008 or something, how many cities had more than 10 million people?
3 in 5.
No, that's for 2030.
Oh.
Michelin, I remember. See, I have good memory. Michelin answered this question. It said 468, Michelin. Do you remember?
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
I remember.
Yes, but it's more than 1 million people.
Oh, 1 million, okay.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. Okay, still, that's a lot. Okay, so, yeah, in the last 50 years, definitely where we've seen that growth. So, now, first and most significantly. Has led to much Okay, so first and most significantly, the expansions of cities has led to much population density and traffic congestion. Let's say, yeah, city congestion, traffic congestion. I put this population density together with traffic congestion because it means just congestion, really. Okay. Owing to this reality, there has been a rise in traffic jams, crime, air and noise pollution, and crowdedness in public areas. Okay. So because of population density and traffic congestion, we've had all these serious other results. Traffic jams, crime, air and noise pollution, and crowdedness in public areas. So remember, this is just one of the ideas I mentioned. I'm thinking about what we wrote. Okay?
Okay.
So an equally negative consequence has been the rise An equally negative consequence has been the rise of many social problems because of overpopulation. So you see here, I don't really say what they are, so I need to give an example to explain. For example, the cost of living has grown sharply, especially in housing. Which has sprung in an increase which has resulted in an increment in poverty and homelessness. Uh-huh. In slums. So, for example, the cost of living has grown sharply, especially in housing and other basic needs, which has resulted in an increment in poverty and homelessness. As can be, this connector here, just as. In slums. Okay? So this example here clarified these social problems. Basically poverty, costs. So that's my second reason. Now I'm going to get to closing this paragraph. Therefore, the disadvantages of urban growth and in many nations can be are clearly evident, are more than evident, it says. Okay, therefore, the disadvantages of urban growth in many nations are more than evident. Okay, so of course I couldn't say everything that we put in our discussion, but I think I just put in here what I think are the most negative consequences. Just all this air pollution and city congestion, As well, I can see that there's a lot of social problems, especially cost of living, homelessness. I mentioned crime in there as well. I guess we could say, well, crime I included up here. It is related to more people. Does anybody have a question about this paragraph?
No, thank you.
Okay,
No question.
all right. So we're going to switch back to our guide. And we're going to see here that now we need to get to the solution side. And we should introduce with this structural sentence. We will give one solution, we'll explain it. I'm not sure we can use these connectors exactly. I will see. Okay, another solution, we explain it, and we close. Okay. Okay, so having considered the rise of this urban conundrum, there are effective measures which can be taken by suburbanization to tackle So notice carefully here that it was a little bit different because, first of all, I'm talking about the urban problem. Okay? Then remember, we have here specifically, we are told what can suburbanization do to deal with the urban problems. Okay? So we should say clearly here that there are effective measures which can be taken by suburbanization development or suburbanization growth to tackle them suburbanization growth to tackle to tackle them, meaning the problems related. Having considered the rise. It's talking about the urban conundrum problems, okay? Yeah. So be more specific here. Okay.
More effective will be more successful.
Development of housing projects and essential service business growth city dwellers can be convinced to relocate to the suburbs. Okay. So perhaps the most success will be that through the development of housing projects and essential service business growth, let's put essential business growth, not service. What is essential business growth? What does it mean here?
Their priority, the business that must have a priority for the people.
For example,
like healthcare,
hospitals, supermarkets, yes.
transportation.
Yeah. So that means that in these suburbs, we're going to have housing projects, but also essential businesses, okay? So because of this, city dwellers, they will be convinced to relocate to the suburbs. See, here, I don't feel that we can use this could be done by, or we need, so I need to explain what will be the result. On account of this, so because of this, okay? City congestion would be greatly minimized. And there could be a reduction in, there could be an increase so city congestion would be greatly minimized. Yep. Well, I don't want to say greatly here. Well, maybe, just depends. I guess what we're trying to say here is not let's build one suburb and just put 10 houses there. No. When we're talking about a suburb, we're talking about a suburb probably like Sherwood Park, which has about 40,000 people. 45, I believe, I'm not sure. And Spruce Grove, they have thousands of people there. It's not one, or it's not even 1,000, it's tens of thousands. So let me just double check that. What is the population of Spruce Grove? 34,000. Yeah. Oh, well, no. Looks like here actually that Spruce Grove is now a city. Didn't know. Sherwood Park. Okay, so Sherwood Park is not a city. Yeah, it's just a suburb, and it says here the population is 70,000. I'm not sure why it's not a city anymore, or yet. But anyways, you see lots. It's not just one small number, okay? Okay. So yes, if you move, let's say, even 20,000 people away from the city, you could see a great change. All right. So now let's go to the second idea. An equally effective change would be that the migration of city residents to suburbs could see a rise in the well-being of both city and suburb individuals. So I'm saying an equally effective. Let's say instead of effective, positive. An equally positive change would be that. Talking about the change in suburbs. The migration of city residents to suburbs could see I'm going to change this to improve. Say quality of life. Okay. Not clear exactly here what is meant by this improvement. So I need to give, for example, or for instance, the peace and tranquility of suburb living would provide a less stressful environment. While in cities, there would be less noise and light pollution. Which could also be beneficial. Okay, so we're saying for suburbanites, the peace and tranquility of suburb living would provide a less stressful environment. Let's put that to suburbanites. While in cities, there would be less noise and light pollution, which could also benefit. Let's play with the words, urbanites. So the suburbanites, the people living in the suburbs, peace and tranquility, suburbanites. While those living in cities, urbanites, would be also benefit because there's less people, less noise and light pollution. Okay?
Okay.
So, good. So now let's close this paragraph. Consequently, through the development of suburbs, the detrimental effects of urbanization could be consequently, through the planning, it's more specific, the planning and development of suburbs. The negative detrimental effects of urbanization could be we'll use effectively there, could be efficiently would be better. Curbed, reduced, right? Curbed, reduce. Okay. So, in this paragraph, we wrote about how suburbanization can reduce the negative, well, the problems in urbanization. Do we have any questions about that paragraph?
Yes, just I want to make sure suburbanite and urbanite is it noun? What's the difference between the suburbanite and suburbs? Both are nouns.
A suburbanite is a person.
Person. Ah, person.
Suburbanite. Suburbanite.
Okay, thank
Same
you.
thing
Even
as an urbanite is a person.
Yeah, thank you.
Similar to say, it just means a resident or a person who lives in a suburb.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Okay? And the suburb is the place.
Yeah, I know. A suburb, it's a place. I think a suburbanite, it's also place.
Sorry?
Thank you. No,
Oh,
no,
you
I
thought,
think
yeah, okay.
at first time, I think suburbanite also it's a place. I know suburbs, it's a place. But now it's okay. Everything is clear. Thank you.
Good. Any others? Okay. So now we're going to get to our conclusion. To conclude, so let's remember actually from our guide, said that for the conclusion, we should relate back to the topic first. Our topic is something to do with city development, suburbs, urban centers. So that's what we're going to do first. Then we're going to emphasize our opinion, which is how suburbs can be more effective or reduce the negative problems of urbanization. So, to conclude, since our earliest nomadic days, people have been searching for a comfortable and convenient place to dwell in. Okay, so since our earliest nomadic periods, does somebody remember what it means, nomadic?
Move to place another place.
Exactly. Remember in the past, people used to live in groups and they used to continuously move to where was the best place to live in. So I said, since that time, people or us, we have been searching for a comfortable and convenient place to dwell in, to live in, to stay in. That is kind of what we are doing, even now. So, now put it all together with our topic. Above all, though, I would like to emphasize rapid growth of cities. That the rapid growth of cities and their populations has caused an abundance of negative. Well, let's change it to a plethora of, it sounds better. However, suburbs promise people a place to call home sweet home. Okay, so above all though, I would like to emphasize that structure. The rapid growth of cities and their populations have caused a plethora of negative consequences, right? We said that. However, the expansion of suburbs, so the growth of suburbs or suburbanization, promise people a place to call home sweet home.
But it's really nice, the end.
What?
Yeah.
I think it is nice, you're right. It just fit in so well.
Mhm.
That really is what we're looking for, right? This is talking about a place to call home for us, a place where we can feel comfortable. And for that matter, a place, and you know about that expression, home sweet home, right?
Yeah.
So there you go. Give me 1 second. So, I do think that suburbs really do think that there's nothing wrong with them as long as they are what we said, that they are convenient, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that they really provide for everyone a good convenience. Like we said, convenience and comfort is what we have always been searching for. Okay? Any questions about the conclusion here?
No, thank you.
Okay, so then let's recap. Again, let's remember that this one was from our book. The question was, how can urbanization led to more problems, and so we need to focus on suburbanization. So, what are the problems of urbanization? So problem, and how can suburbanization help? So problem solutions, okay? So we discussed it here, then we followed our guide, and then we wrote. So let's read. Go ahead, Fahima.
Okay. What is this? Okay. In our early 21st century, how to reduce the problems associated with urbanization has become a prominent issue.
Okay, Michelin. Can you go one more time, please, Michelin?
While for another
No,
perspective,
a common opinion.
a common opinion is that the government should try to expand growth away from urban centers.
Okay, good. Now, Mabel.
While for another perspective, some municipal experts posit that development in the outskirts of the city and creating suburbs could be the solution to urban congestion.
Okay, so from, it should say from there.
From.
I changed it though. Okay, now we get to our thesis, Fahima.
Though this problem may be prevalent from my point of view, efficient suburb planning could certainly counter the negative aspects of urbanizations.
Okay, so now we're going to get to our first paragraph. We need to discuss some of the problems in that are happening in suburbs. Okay, so go ahead. Whose turn is it? Michelin.
To begin with, there are several vivid negative consequences that have been brought about from the rapid growth of many metropolitan urban centers in the last 50 years.
Okay, so that's the opening sentence to this paragraph about what are the problems associated with urbanization. What's the first one that we put down here, Mabel?
First and most significantly, the expansion of city has led to much population density and traffic congestion.
What's the result of this, Fahima?
Owing to this reality, there has been a rise in traffic jams, crime, air and noise pollutions, and groundness in public areas.
Okay, so now Jose's back. He solved his problem. So Jose, an equally
negative consequence has been the rise of many social problems because of overpopulation.
Okay, and then Michelin?
For example, the cost of living has grown sharply, especially in housing and other basic needs, which has resulted in
Increment.
increment in poverty and homelessness, as can be clearly observed in slums.
Okay, and now Mabel, we're closing.
Therefore, the disadvantage of urban growth in many nations are more than evident.
Okay, very good. So that was that was the problems that we discussed related to urbanization. Now we're going to talk about the solutions. Okay.
Yeah.
So Carolina's back in class, back in action. Okay. So go ahead, Carolina, having considered.
Having considered the rise of this urban conduct, there are effective measures which can be taken by urbanization growth to tackle them.
Okay, Fahima, what's next?
Perhaps the most successful would be that through the development of housing projects and essential business growth, city dwellers can be convinced to relocate to the suburbs.
Relocate.
Relocate.
Yeah. Okay, Micheline?
On account of this, city congestion will be greatly minimized. There could be an increase of air quality and less crowded public areas.
Good. Okay, Jose, next.
An equally positive change would be that the migration of city residents to suburbs could improve the quality of life of both city and suburb individuals.
Okay, now Mabel.
For instance, the peace and tranquility of suburban living would provide a less stressful environment to suburbanites, while in cities there would be less noise and light pollution, which could also benefit urbanites.
Yeah, suburbanites and urbanites. Okay, Fahima.
Consequently, through the planning and development of suburbs, the detrimental effects of urbanization could be eventually curbed.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and now we got to the conclusion. Micheline, go ahead.
To conclude, since our earliest nomadic periods, people have been searching for a comfortable and convenient place to dwell in.
Right, okay, and then our last sentence. Go ahead, Carolina. Last sentence, please.
Although I would like to emphasize that the rapid growth of cities and their population have caused a plethora of negative consequences. However, the expansion of suburbs provides people a place to call home sweet home.
Right. Exactly. Home, sweet home.
Home sweet home.
So